Hey everybody, it's Ed back with another video tutorial. This time is the first time that I am talking about a program other than Manga Studio. I'm not going to make a habit of it, but I thought it would be interesting to give you my impressions of this program, Sketchbook Pro 7, which is by a company called Autodesk. I picked up a copy of this a little while ago when it was on Amazon Lightning deals, and I had seen some videos of people using it, and I was always curious about it. And I just thought I would check it out because I'm always interested to see what else is out there. I like Manga Studio a lot, obviously, but there are probably advantages to other programs, and the only way that I would know that is if I tried those other programs. So where does this fit in the scheme of other programs? Well, first off, in terms of price, it's somewhere on the lower end. So as of this recording on Amazon, it is about $18 more than Manga Studio 5 single edition, the regular edition. And it's about a third of the cost of Manga Studio 5 EX. Obviously, I don't even know what scale it is for Photoshop, but it's quite a lot cheaper than Photoshop. Now, I think that Manga Studio 5 and EX aren't that different from each other, and definitely not worth the difference of like $120. This program, at least in my current approximation of it, is not, I don't feel like it can do as much of what I want it to do as Manga Studio. So in that light, it's not as good of a deal. But I'll go through some of the features here, and maybe you'll see things differently than I do. So this is what the basic interface looks like. It's very pared down relative to other programs like Photoshop, GIMP, Manga Studio, etc. And it's kind of nice. It's really focused on the art side of things. So there's not a lot of extra stuff. Let's just start up here and work down. So on the left side here, you have essentially a palette of brushes, and you can resize that to accommodate more. But you can treat this sort of as a custom palette. You can rearrange these, you can move up and down. This button right here, let's just pick the pencil. This button right here with the little sliders shows you the brush properties, so you can change the hardness of the brush. And the pencil is considered a basic brush, so it doesn't have a lot of features, but some of these other brushes do have a lot of features you can modify. And if there's not one here that you want, you can always click this button and you can come in and you can look at the different options that are available. They nicely separate them out based on their function. So you have traditional, you have synthetic, Copic markers. So they try to look like Copic markers. There's some splatter effects. I guess this is kind of cool. It's like a Kirby dot. And there's also some texture and shape effects. I do have another video in Manga Studio about how to create brushes like this. So these aren't necessarily the same kinds of brushes that come with Manga Studio, but you can create those brushes. And then you can smudge stuff as well. So yeah, so that's that dock. Down here you have, actually I think this is called the dock. And it's kind of nice. It has a little option where you can could very quickly switch stuff. So let's say I wanted to switch my color from, I've got like a black at the moment, but I want to switch it to red. I can do that very quickly. Green, transparent. I want a pencil. Maybe I want a marker instead. You can go through all of these. This is like your tools, symmetry rulers, other rulers, zooms, and so forth. I could see this being really useful. It's kind of weird to me, being a right-handed person, for some reason to have it on the left bottom side of the screen. Like I kind of forget it's there. But presumably you could move it around if you wanted to. I don't know if you can actually do that, so I'll have to look into that. You have your undo, redo. Same thing up here, undo, redo. I'll get to the top bar last. These are your pucks. You can move them around wherever you want on your screen. The black puck, ironically enough, is the color puck. So you can click on it and you can switch your color. You can see what color you currently have on the left and the color you're switching to on the right, which is kind of helpful. I'm going to stick with black for right now. This is your brush size puck. So you click on it and you can just drag outward and increase or decrease your brush size. And it's kind of nice because it gives you a preview of what size that will be when you're done. So that's the brush I have at the moment. Layers palette over here. You can actually add layers to this, so it's not confined to one layer. That's nice. I find that, at least in this version, I haven't really tested it, there aren't limits on the number of layers. I think if you buy this program for your tablet or for your phone, or don't buy it, rather you download it, the free copy might have some limits on things like this, and depending on the features you buy, may or may not give you some of these features that you're seeing here. So this is the full desktop version. Up here you have some repeated stuff. You've got your colors, and you've got your brush palette. You've got actual a Copic library. So I think these are actual, or meant to look like actual Copic colors that you could buy in the store if you bought Copic markers, which I guess, given how much Copics cost, this might be a nice alternative. And then up here you got some kind of cool stuff. So you got the standard stuff over here, zooming and selecting and transforming, undo, redo, fill, etc. You've got some cooler stuff here. You obviously have rulers, French curves, things that will guide your hand more, which are kind of nice. They have a perspective ruler in here like they do in Manga Studio. I haven't played with it enough, but it seems relatively intuitive. And then they have this thing called the symmetry ruler, which is pretty cool. And I'm just going to show you that real quick. So the symmetry ruler puts this thing down the center of your page, and you can move it around with this little puck here. But anything you draw on one side will automatically be mirrored on the other side. So you can very quickly just come in and draw a circle. Let's do a better circle than that. And you could very quickly sketch out something. And this would, I could see being very useful, very quick for your character designs. So you can turn it off, and then you can actually come in and erase stuff. Remember that you could set the hardness of the brush. So I could set it to a softer brush, and I could get a darker line. And I could, kind of go around this, darken it up a bit. And then they have this soft eraser, which is kind of cool. Take the size of this up a little bit. And you can come in and you can actually just lightly erase down. You could do this on separate layers. You might even argue that's cleaner, but you could kind of get a cool look from this if you wanted to by doing this, because then you can come back in and you can draw over it and pick the lines you like, and it has more of like a pencil-y feel to it. Yeah, and another cool option, something I have not messed with, but you can do in here, is there's this feature called Flipbook, which I believe is new to Pro 7, so the version 7 of Sketchbook Pro. I don't think it happened or existed in the previous version. So you can do a flipbook, which is essentially like an animation. You can draw some images and do that. I have not messed with that, as I said, and I don't think I'm the most qualified to show you how to do that. That being said, I will link to a video in the description down at the bottom that will take you to, actually, in general, just a good channel on YouTube by this guy named Paris Christou. He does pinups of this character Cherry he's created, and they're kind of cartoony, Disney-ish pinups, but he's very good. He does it all in Sketchbook Pro. I think he might do some post correction somewhere else, but you can watch him sketch stuff, and he really uses the program to its full potential, I think. And he actually did a video on this new flipbook feature where he animated his character swinging her leg. Basic animation, but it's still cool nonetheless. So I'll put links to those so you can check those out and see someone who's a little more qualified to talk about those things than I am. But yeah, I mean, my overall impression of this program is that it's pretty cool. Is it worth more than Manga Studio? I guess it depends on what you want to use it for. I could see this being very quick for people who really like to use kind of an illustration-y type program. This feels much more like it's made for drawing than, and the name implies that it's a sketchbook, than it is for finished comic work. So you can do some cool roughs in this. This pencil feels really good. It feels better than Manga Studio's pencil. Feels better than any digital pencil that I've worked with. It feels the closest, I think, to an actual pencil. But you just kind of have to try it for yourself, I think, to really get the feel. I could see myself doing some roughs with this, but maybe not doing finished work with it. You can actually save it and then import it and use it as your roughs in Manga Studio as well, so you could use the two in concert with each other. Anyway, so I hope that's helpful and give you an idea of whether this is something that you want to check out. I'll probably maybe post some follow-up review to it once I have had a little bit more time to play with it and get a sense of whether it's something I'll be using often. I don't think I'll ever be using it for inking purposes. I just don't feel like it's there really for that purpose. But I mean, I think it's it's a perfectly good program. And if you get your hands on a cheap copy, like if you're a student, maybe they have like a student version, it's not a bad piece to have in your arsenal. So I hope you enjoyed this. Next time I'll be back to doing Manga Studio tutorials, so don't fear. I will return to that. But if you like what you see here, you can always find more at my channel. You can find my comics that I work on, which are much more cartoony than what's being done here. You can find them at kantorwont.com, KANTORWONT. You can follow me on Twitter at Edomaniac, EDOMANIAC. It's hard to do this while drawing, I noticed. And yeah, I hope you use this to make some cool stuff. And if I glossed over some features that you really enjoy, please let me know, and maybe I can cover them in my follow-up video. So until next time, I will see you on YouTube.